afternoon of rest, and we really have been spoilt with this pack of late. They've spent a lot of time in this area. We've seen a lot of interesting behavior from them. There's obviously been the split that has happened, and it is one of the sort of a split from the Investec pack as far as I understand it. It's interesting though, the numbers keep fluctuating in these splits. It's difficult to kind of keep tabs on exactly who's who and where they all are, because they kind of come in and out, and every time they come back they're in a different sort of way, and there's different members in different places. So this is the split that doesn't have the collared dog, so this is the ones without the collar on them, and then you've got the collared ones that are also running around. Now I'm not sure where they went. The last time we had them, they were moving, I think, around Chitwa areas. The last time the collared dog was seen, I think, I'm not really 100% sure, but that was about a week ago. And then we've got these guys now that are also around, and I'm not sure on Friday whether James had these ones or James had the collared dog. Ferg, was the collared dog with him?
I didn't see collar.
No collar. Okay, so it must have been this lot that was with James on Friday, and then the rest must be also around somewhere as well. So Lily Brady, you say yay wild dogs. It's always exciting when we get the dogs. The dogs are such fun to follow around and to see how they go about their business. And this morning they had an action-packed morning as they got a human fly them. They also had a leopard come charging into that area. So it was all quite interesting for the dogs, and I'm sure they had a wonderful time watching what was going on and the antics of the bush. But they do get up to all kinds of things, and it's one of the reasons why following wild dogs is so exciting, because you just never know with them what's going to happen. They seem to have a nose for leopards. They tend to find leopards very easily if they are moving. Also, they are just incredibly exciting to watch when they're on the hunt because of the way that they move. And I'm pretty sure that this afternoon we're going to see a situation where they are going to get up and get going. Remember, around Gowrie Dam there was lots of impalas. There's the baby wildebeest. There's some zebra around there. Now zebra's probably a little large for this group, but you never know. They wouldn't know that, and they'll hear movements of animals, and I'm pretty sure they're going to head that direction. And if they do, it will be absolute chaos if they run out onto that open area, because there's going to be animals that are going to split in every direction. Philip, you're wondering if the dogs howl. So I'm sure you're thinking also along the lines of a wolf howl. So no, not really. They will do the who call when they are trying to contact one another. So a wolf will howl when it's contacting each other, and territorial calls, whereas these guys do what's called the who call, which is a hollow hooing sound, and they do it regularly. And in fact, lately we've been hearing quite a bit of it from the collared pack in particular. They seem to be doing it quite a lot, and I'll play it for you now. I've got the actual call, but I don't want to play it too loudly because they do react very strongly to the call. So we just got to keep it a little bit down. So that's what it sounds like. So there we go. We're not going to play it too long. You can see how they poked up their ears, because when they hear that, and particularly this time of the year, they know that this is dogs that are looking for each other. There has been a split, so there's been a lot of calling that's going on. It's also this time of the year where they start sorting out alphas and in terms of the pairing, and so they make a lot of noise, and so playing that call is not really good because it gets them very excitable, and that's why I don't want to do it for too long. But that's the sound that they make. They don't really howl. They do also have an excited squeaking sound when they find food or other members of the pack, and or when they get going in the afternoons to start hunting, or the mornings, then you'll hear this excited chatter that goes on. And then if they see a predator, they will also not howl. It's more like a bark that they let out. So it's this rough sort of sound that comes out. It's a little bit shorter than what you'd hear from a dog's bark, but it is that loud sort of kind of sound that is very rough in its tone. And so those are the noises that dogs make. James, you're wondering if they have a den around? So no. Wild dogs, when they're denning, will den between normally May and into as far late as September would be a very late den period. So over the winter months is when wild dogs den. So this pack is not denning at all, and that's why their movement is so much at the moment. So they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out, and they're not fixed in one location. If they had a den, you'd pretty much find them most days at the same spot, and they would have a little termite mound where they'll have little ones. But the good thing is that if they're spending a lot of time here, and because there's been this fracture of the pack, you never know. Maybe they decide that this is going to be a good area for for them to den next year, and we then have them in this particular section. Or the collared pack, the one with the collared dog in it, that split might decide to den here. So there's options now at least, and that's always good news when it comes to wild dogs. And a wild dog den is one of the most phenomenal things to have, not only because you get to see the dogs daily, but you get this amazing interaction, and you get to watch the social structure and how the bonding happens from an early age, and how tight that unit is, and the efficiency of these adults to be able to try and go back and forward and feed these ones, as also the tribulations that these guys and trials that they have that it takes to raise little puppies. It's absolutely phenomenally difficult for them there. Hyena to worry about, lions, leopard. They've got martial eagles that come in every now and then and kill the puppies. Got tawny eagles even. I've heard of battalier eagles feasting on a wild dog puppy before. Whether it was dead, I'm not sure, but I have heard of that as well. So a number of different things that they've got to worry about, and the puppies are tiny when they're born. They really are cute little things when they run around. And so if we get a den, it'll be super exciting. It is one of the most phenomenal things. And on top of it, like I say, is you just see the most amazing stuff from the dogs themselves, because they're pretty local. And so every day you can almost get a hunt out of them every morning and afternoon, which is absolutely phenomenal. So hopefully next year we will be able to show you guys a den. I don't think we've ever had a den on Safari Live. I'm not sure if we have. Maybe some of the viewers that have been watching for all these years will know if we've ever had a den site that we've monitored, but I can tell you it is an amazing thing to watch. The problem with the wild dog den is that you kind of have to have a tough, thick skin for it, because there is a number of things that happen at den sites that are tough, from heads of animals to be brought back, and then also from the standpoint that you will find a lot of these dogs, unfortunately, will die. The little pups, they don't last, a lot of them, and the mortality rate is over 50% in those puppies. So you can't get too attached to the puppies for early on. Unfortunately, it is quite traumatic in that regard. Now, Scarlett, you're wondering if these wild dogs are in any way similar or related to the dingoes of Australia. So I don't think so. I mean, dingoes are also part of the canine kind of family, and wild dogs are also part of that lineage, but they're not directly related in any way. They're not part of the exact same order, the exact same family grouping. These guys tend to be on their own little pathway, and not with dingoes as far as I know, but they are probably under the same sort of dog family, so you'll find them and jackals and various others that will kind of be part of that, and they will be on their own sort of then family grouping from there. But a lot of similarities with the dingo, except that as far as I understand, the dingo is more a solitary specimen. I don't know that much about them, so I would imagine that they would be a little bit different in that they're not quite as pack animal like as what we see from the wild dogs. The wild dogs tend to be far more kind of into the pack lifestyle and be a lot more like that all the time than what dingoes are. From what my limited observations have been, like I say, I don't really know much about dingoes, and so it's something I'll have to go and read up on, but I don't think that they are directly related. I think it's probably just under the same canine family essentially. But absolutely wonderful to see these guys. Like I say, I mean, now we're just being patient. At the end, they're not going to be down like this the whole afternoon. It's resting time now, and then they are going to get up some point this afternoon. So it's a lottery as to when they're going to get up. You've just got to try and be there at the right place at the right time, and hopefully then we get lucky and they get up and go on the move. I would imagine it will be just around sunset. That's normally when the dogs get up, although there is a really nice wind blowing, so it's a little cooler than it has been the past few days, which might drop